Hi, I'm Tyler, and in this video, I'm going to show you how to create your own appointment booking website step by step with no steps skipped. So you can do super fast bookings. Clients can book in less than 30 seconds right on your website. We can accept payments and easily collect payments during booking. And this is great for salons, spas, dentists, consultants, or basically anyone who takes booking appointments. I've spent hours researching different appointment booking systems, and I wanted to find the easiest and most professional way to do it, and this is definitely it. Setting up your website only takes 4 simple steps. The first thing that we need to do is get your website name and hosting. Your website name is like yourbusiness.com, and hosting is just a place to store all of your website files. Don't worry, it's super simple. I'll walk you through exactly where to get it and how to set it up. Next, we'll install WordPress. WordPress is by far the best platform for creating an appointment website. It's also the most popular way in the entire world to make a website. WordPress is completely beginner friendly, and once it's installed, you'll be able to log into your website's dashboard and manage everything from one place without code. Now let's create a stylish website. We'll use Astra, a super fast and customizable theme. This is going to allow you to make any design that you want and any design that you can think of. Next, we're going to use Elementor. This makes it super simple to build all of your website pages. And finally, we're going to be using LatePoint. This is a simple and powerful appointment booking plugin that will allow us to set it up super simply. And then the last thing that we're going to do is set up your appointment booking system so that clients can book with you 24/7 without having to call or email you. We can add your services and different pricing that let your clients book exactly what they need. We'll be able to have instant bookings where your customers can select a time slot and confirm in seconds. You can set availability so it can adjust to your schedule, breaks, and daily limits. You can track and manage. You can view all of your bookings in one simple dashboard. And you can accept online payments where you can charge upfront for your services. All of this together only cost about $30. And by the end, your website will be fully set up to take bookings automatically. So if you're ready, then I'm ready. Let's get started. So all you have to do is open up a new browser and go to hostgator.com. That's hostgator.com and press enter. I do get a commission for recommending HostGator, but I've been using HostGator myself for 19 years and been recommending them on YouTube for 14 years. So this is way before HostGator contacted me and told me that I can give my audience the biggest discount. And I just really like them. They have 24/7, 365 live chat and phone support. I usually don't call them. I usually just live chat. I find it so much easier. But to get hosting, all we have to do is go over here to hosting. And you'd think you'd use WordPress hosting, but actually that just costs more money. And it's not really different from web hosting. And it's actually more expensive. So we can just click on web hosting. And then we can scroll down here and we can see the 3 different plans. And we can see how much they cost. This one costs $375 a month. But I have a little trick. If you go up here and you go to hostgator.com/unlock, that's UNLOCK, and press enter, then the largest discount is going to be unlocked. And now if we scroll down here, we can see that it's $199 to start, which I think is a super good deal. So we have these 3 different plans here: the hatchling plan, the baby plan, and the business plan. The business plan is just way too much. We don't need all of this stuff right here, and you can always upgrade later. So it's really between the hatchling plan and the baby plan. The hatchling plan says that you can have 10 websites and the baby plan says that you can have 20 websites. The baby plan also comes with phone support. So if phone support is super important to you, you want to be able to call someone up and talk to them, then the baby plan is for you. But if that doesn't matter, then you should definitely start with the hatchling plan. And again, you can always upgrade later. So we're just going to click choose plan, and here you have 2 options. You can register a new domain, or maybe you already have a domain, for example, from somewhere like GoDaddy, and you already own it. You can check this box right here, and then you can enter in the domain name that you already own. All right, but we're registering a new domain today, so we're just going to uncheck this and put in our own new domain name right here. And you can do a .net, a .com, a .org. .com is definitely the most popular. You'd want to use like a .org if you have like a nonprofit. Then you can click on search for domain to search for it. And of course, your domain name might not always be available, so you have to search around and find the one that is available. And once you found it, it's going to send you to the cart right here, and it's going to tell you your total. But this is actually way too much, and we can save a lot of money. First, we should check out that our discount is applied, and it is right here. If it wasn't, we can add promo code and just type in unlock. And next, it's asking you how many years at a time you want to subscribe for. The longer you go for, the bigger the discount. And the shorter you go for, the less you pay upfront. The issue with going just monthly is that it doesn't include the domain name for free. So yearly and monthly are really close in price. So I think the best of all worlds is to go with 1 year at a time. That way you get your free domain name and a super good discount. Now it's asking you about domain privacy protection. So what is domain privacy protection? When you register a new domain, your information like your phone number and email are displayed for anyone to look up. Domain privacy protection makes sure that you can't see that information or people can't see that information. You'd want this because sometimes when you don't have domain privacy protection, you get some spam calls and spam emails that are pretty annoying. But in the spirit of saving the most amount of money, we're going to delete this and remove from cart. And we should just know that we might get some spam calls or spam emails. Next, it's going to ask us about professional email trial. And I don't think that we need it right now. Your website already comes with free email, so we can just delete that also. And of course, if you do want professional email, I think it's from Google, then you can always upgrade later. All right, then we'll press continue to checkout right here. And we can add things like our first name, our last name, our country, our address, our city, our state, our zip code, our email, and our phone number. You can check or uncheck this if you want to hear about HostGator. I don't think I do. And then you can put in your password and confirm your password. And we can choose credit card or PayPal and put in our name and our card information. And don't worry, this isn't my real information. And the security code and the month and the year. And we can look over it all. This is looking really good. We can see that it's $27.47. This might go up to $30 or down a little bit, but it'll be somewhere in there. And I think that's a super good deal to have your website spread across the entire earth. And we can click on submit payment. The next thing that we're going to do is install WordPress. Usually after you just sign up, you should see a button that says install WordPress. All you have to do is click on it. If you don't see that button for some reason, you can go over to websites and you can find your website. I have a few different ones right here, and we can go ahead and click on settings. Once we do that, we can scroll up a little bit and then click on settings again. And then we can scroll down and we can click on install WordPress. Once we do that, we can click on this checkbox right here and then click install WordPress once again. After we do that, we can see this little box that says installing WordPress for, and then I'll say your website. Now we can just wait a little while and then we can scroll down and click on settings one more time. And then we can scroll up and we can click edit WordPress site. Once we do that, we see this page here, and all you have to do is exit to WordPress. And then just click exit one more time. And now we are in the back end or the dashboard of our website. This is where you make all of your changes in order to control your website. We can exit out of this because we don't need it anymore. We can click on this to open this up, and then let's click on dashboard. The next thing that we're going to do is set up a password for your website. This is so you can log in directly to your website. So to do that, all we have to do is click on users, and then we can click on our name right here. Once we do that, we can scroll down and click set new password. Then we can just enter it in right here. I'm going to hide my password so I don't get hacked by the internet. You want to remember what your username is and write it down. And once we've entered it, we can press update profile. Once it's updated, we can go up here and we can press log out. And if we remove all of this stuff right here, we can just go to our website.com. And right now, this is how our website looks to our users. But we're not logged in, so we need to log in order to change our website because this website isn't that great. So in order to log in, we need to go to ourwebsite.com/WP-admin, and then we can press enter. So now we can put in our username right here, and we can put in our password right here, and then we can just click login. And that is how you log into your website. It's super simple. The next thing that we're going to do is delete plugins. But what are plugins? Plugins are like apps on your phone or programs on your computer that allow your website to do some really amazing things. There are thousands and thousands of free plugins, and that's one of the things that makes WordPress great. The problem is when your website comes pre-installed with a whole bunch of plugins that you didn't want. So we want to start off blank, fresh, and clean, and not with a whole bunch of plugins. So to get rid of these extra plugins on your website, all we have to do is go over to plugins, and we can see all of these plugins that are already pre-installed. But don't worry, we can always install these later. But let's just delete all of them so we start off blank, fresh, and clean. We can go up here and select all, and then go to deactivate and apply. And now all of your plugins are deactivated. Then we can select all once again and go up here and press delete, then apply. Then we can press OK. And now all of those plugins are deleted. And now we can go check our website and we can see it looks the same, but now everything is blank, fresh, and clean. Or at least it got rid of most of the things that we don't need. We can also see this Hello World blog post that we didn't create and that we don't want on our website. To delete them is pretty easy. All we have to do is click on our website name up here. Then we can go to pages and we can select all of the pages, and we can go up here and press move to trash. Then we can click on apply, and then just for good measure, we can click on trash, select all of them, and press delete permanently. Then click apply. Now all of our pages are deleted, so we can go over to post over here. Then we can click on trash, and we can click our trash, and we can press delete permanently. Now our website is super clean. We can go ahead and check on it, and we can see that it is pretty blank. The next thing that we're going to do is change your title and tagline. If we go up here, we can see that our title is create a website. Your title is basically your business name. And right now we don't have a tagline, but a tagline helps describe your website to both people and search engines. To change it, all we have to do is click on our website name right here, and then we can go to settings over here, and where it says site title, we can change it here. So this is usually your business name, so you just enter it in right here. And for the tagline, this describes your website. So if you're a consultant in Los Angeles, you might put Business Consultant Los Angeles or Los Angeles Business Consultant. Once that's done, we can scroll down and click Save Changes. And then after we do that, we can go up here and click on our website name. And now if we hover over here, it says our title and it says our tagline. All right, that's pretty easy. The next thing that we're going to do is install a theme. But what is a theme? A theme is the design of your website. It's what your website looks like. So this is what this theme looks like right now, but this theme sort of locks you in. We want a theme where you can make anything. Luckily for us, this theme is free and it's the most popular theme out there. So to download a new theme so that we can create any design, all we have to do is click on our website name right here, and then we can go to Appearance and Themes. Once we do that, we can click Add New Theme. And if we scroll down, we can actually see the theme right here because it is one of the most popular ones. But we can also search for it here. So we can scroll up and search for Astra, A-S-T-R-A. And we can see it right here. We can click on it. And we can see that it's 5 out of 5 stars with 6,000 ratings, downloaded millions and millions of times. And we can check it out, and then we can press install. Once it's installed, we can click on activate. And now our new theme is installed. We can go back to our website and we can see this is now what our website looks like. Of course, this is not very good, but it's a blank starting point, and that's exactly what we want. Next, we're going to install something that's going to save us a lot of time. It's called Starter Sites, and it allows us in one click to install an entire website pre-configured perfectly. To do that, all we have to do is go up to our website name and click on it so that we go into the dashboard. Then we can click on plugins because we're installing a new plugin. Then we can click add new plugin. Once we do that, we can go over here and type in starter templates. And now we can see the starter templates over here, rated 5 out of 5 with 5,000 installs and over 1 million activations. And we can click on install now. Once it's installed, all we have to do is click on activate to activate it. And now it's going to ask us some questions. Instead of AI website builder, we can click on classic starter templates and click build with templates. Then it's going to ask us which page builder do we want, and we can click on Elementor. Elementor is the most intuitive page builder out there. And now we have all of these different templates that we can install with one click. We can search for this one right here. This is the Wellness Coach, but it could be for anything where you're making an appointment, not just a wellness coach. And obviously we can change anything about it. So we can just click on it, and then we can just customize it just like this. So we can choose the different fonts, or we can choose the different colors, and we can also always do this later. And then we can press continue. Then it's going to ask us, do we want any more special features? And we can just press continue. Then it's going to ask us a little bit about ourselves. So like our first name, email, our experience, and who it's for. Then you can press I understand, let's go. And then everything like those images and that plugin for appointment and all of that is being installed for you, saving you so many hours. Then it says, congratulations, you are done. And we can visit our website and bam, we have this beautiful website that we can change any way we want. And that saved us so much time. Super cool. The next thing that we're going to do is edit your theme style. This is basically just like your fonts and colors. And the cool thing is once we change one thing, it'll edit everything on our website. So let's take a look at how we do it. What we can do is go up here and click on customize. And once we do that, we have all of these options, but we can click on global. Then we can change the typography, which is the same thing as your fonts. And here you can change it to anything that you want. And if we scroll down, we can see that those changes have actually changed. And that changes throughout your entire website. We can undo that by pressing on this reset button. We can also change our fonts here. We can also change the fonts specifically for the body font, and that controls all of the smaller font and the font up here. And it also changes this text right here. So we can go ahead and click on the edit button, and we can change the font to anything that we want. There are over 600 fonts. Some of them are pretty crazy, but you can look them up by looking up Google popular fonts. And it will show you all of the Google fonts that are popular. And when we change the body font, we can see that it also changes right here. The heading fonts is different. The headings are like all of the large text on your website. So we can go over here and we can change it, and we can see that it has changed. We can obviously change it to whatever we want. And if we scroll down, we can see all of the changes here. But I'm just going to go back to what it was. And I'll also go back and change the body font to what it was, which is Enter. All right, we're all done with that, so we can go back. And now we can click on colors. This is the colors on our website. So if we choose style 2, we can see different colors. And if we click on style 3, we can see these wild colors. Kind of cool though. We can also get more options by clicking on this pencil, and we can see all of these different color presets. We can also change each color individually by clicking on any of these buttons up here and changing the colors. The first one will set the button color. The next one will set the button hover color, as you can see right here. And of course, we can reset anything to go back to how it was before. The third button changes all of the headings. The fourth button changes all of the text. And we can reset all of that too. The fifth button is the secondary background, which changes the background for sections like this, but that looks pretty crazy, so let's reset that also. We can also change things like the primary background, and we can see this change right here, but it looks much better being white. All right, but that's enough of these colors. Let's go back. And let's go to buttons. How do we change all of our buttons? We can go ahead and click on buttons, and we can choose the font right here. And we can change this button padding. This button padding is how much space is around the buttons. So we can change that to whatever we want and add more spacing or less spacing. And we can also change the border radius of the buttons. So if we put in 0, it's going to have no radius, so it's going to be completely sharp. If we put in a big number, it'll be way more round. Once we're done with all of that, we can click on publish, and we can go back to our main website. And that is how you control the colors and the text of your website. Super easy. The next thing that we're going to do is edit your homepage, because obviously you want to change the content of your website. To do that, all we have to do is visit our homepage and then click Edit with Elementor. To edit anything is super simple. All we have to do is click on anything, and then over here we can edit it. So we can change the text right here. Then to change this text, we can click on it and we can change it. Maybe we can put something like appointment booking website, but obviously yours is going to be different. We can also make this whole section right here wider by clicking on this column right here, and under width we can simply make it wider. If we want to delete anything, all we have to do is click on this pencil icon or right click and press delete. If we want to add a button to our website, all we have to do is find it and then click, hold, and drag, and our button or anything else can be added to our website. And then again, over here is all of the button options, and we can put in text. And we can also change the link of the button. So when you click on it, where does the button go to? And we can just start typing in the page that we want it to go to, and then it'll show up and we can click on it. There's also advanced options over here if we click on advanced, and we can do things like change the margin of the button, which is going to give it more spacing around the button. Right now, all of this section is in the center. If we wanted to change that, we can just click on the columns icon again, and then we can align all the items to the left. This text right here also needs to be aligned to the left, so all we have to do is click on it. Then we can go to style, and under alignment, we can choose left. We can go ahead and preview it by clicking on this button right here, and we can see that looks pretty good. We can press Ctrl Z on a PC or Command Z on a Mac to undo everything that we just did. And that way you never need to be afraid of trying changes and trying to do things, because you can always undo later. We can also go up here and go to history to see all of the changes that we made, and we can click through this to move backwards and forward in time. And we can go all the way to the beginning by clicking on editing started, and that will undo all of the changes that we just made. We can also edit entire sections by clicking on these 6 dots up here. Then we can go over here to minimum height and we can change it, and we can see that this section shrinks or grows by the different values that we put in. If we wanted to do something like change this background image right here, all we have to do after we click on the 6 dots is go to style. Then under background type, we have these different options. We can choose a gradient just to have 2 colors blend into each other. That looks a little bit crazy, but maybe cool on some websites. We can also have a video, like a YouTube video playing in the background, or any video that you want. Or we can also have a slideshow. Right now, I'm just going to keep it classic, and let's actually open up a new tab and find another image. I really like pexels.com, that's Pexels.com. And this is because they have copyright-free images that you can use on your website. And we can search for anything. Let's search for landscape. And we can scroll down and try to find any image that we like. This usually takes me a really long time. But we can click on the image and go up here. And we want to download the large size or the medium size, but definitely not the original, because that's going to slow down our website, because that image size is just too large and it's too much data that would have to be transferred. It's too many megabytes. Once we download that image, we can exit out of here. Then we can just click on choose image over here, and we can go over to our recent downloads and just click, hold, and drag that in there. Now that's going to upload to our website, and then all we have to do is press select, and that image will show right into our website. But right now it's kind of difficult to see the text on the background, but we can do something super cool, and that's background overlay. So we can just click on it, and then under classic, we can go over here and choose a color, and we can choose whatever color we want. Then under opacity, this is basically how light or dark it is. We can choose any opacity that we want. And if we go under layout, because we don't have that face on the right side of our image anymore, we can align this to the center. And that is looking pretty cool. I really like that. This isn't showing up right now, it's just spinning, but it will work on the front end of your website. And we'll get to that pretty soon, but for now, let's just scroll down and let's try to rearrange these sections. To do that is super easy. All we have to do is click, hold, and drag these 6 dots and hold it up and let it go. Now we see this section is on top of the other one, but of course we can undo that to go back to how it was. We can also rearrange different columns by just clicking, holding, and dragging, and just let it go. And now that's on the right side and the other one is on the left. Let's say we didn't want this whole section, but we do want to copy this column right here. We can easily copy a column by going up here and clicking or right-clicking, and we can press copy. And let's go over here and click and press delete, so it deletes that entire section. But we still want that column, so we go over here and right-click and press paste, and that will paste in that column right here. Super cool. And of course we can preview that, and that is looking good. Well, it's almost looking good. We can see that this one is a little bit too long, and the other ones are a little shorter. Let's try to get them all the same height. We can do this by opening this back up and clicking on each of the columns, and for minimum height we can put in a number. And we can do that for all of the columns, and now when we look at it, all of them are the same height. Next, to change an image that is not a background image, all we have to do is we can scroll down and we can click on this image. Then once again we can go to pexels.com and we can search for an image. Then we can find an image that is really nice, and we can download the large size. And we can exit out of here, and we can click on the image. Then we can just click, hold, and drag that image and wait for it to upload. Then we can press select to insert it, and we have a new image in there. We can also do some cool things like adjust the height of this image by going to style, and under height we can slide this up and down to change the height. If we need it bigger than 500 pixels, we can also change it right here. And we have different options over here for how we want the image to be displayed. Usually cover is the best. We can preview all of our changes, and now you know how to change the text, the buttons, and the images, and rearrange the different sections. And that's pretty much all you need to know in order to control the look of your website. So we can click on publish and publish all of those changes. And now we can get rid of all of this and go to our website, and we can see all of those changes have been changed. Super cool.
The next thing that we're going to do is edit this booking appointment. There are 3 different ways that your user can add an appointment. The first one is by clicking on this button, and it shows all of your different types of appointments. So you can have different services, and your user can select one right here. The second way that your user can add an appointment, if we scroll down, we can see this calendar right here. So the calendar would be for a specific service that you have. And then the third way is a pop-up for this button right here that shows a specific service. And I'll show you how to do that later. So instead of this being all of your services, this will be a specific service. All right, but let's exit out of there and let's change a specific service. Let's go into our dashboard by clicking on our website name. And let's go down here and click on Late Point. To see all of our services that we offer, we can click on Services. And then you can see all of our services right here. And we can go ahead and edit a service by clicking on Edit Service. And if we wanted to delete this service, we can scroll all the way down and click on Delete Service. Then we can press OK. But we probably want to add our own service, so we can just click the Add Service button right here. And we can go ahead and give it a name. Then scroll down and select an image. We can choose any image that we want. This is going to be the little icon that shows up. Then we can also put in how much we'll charge and the display price. So you can show things like minimum and maximum price here. We're just going to keep it all the same. And there's a whole bunch of different options here, like what agent offers this service and when the service is available, basically the schedule. And we can say basically we don't want it to be on Sunday, and then we can add service. So it's as easy as that. Now we have a new service. Let's remove all of this and go to our website. And let's go ahead and click on Edit with Elementor to add that service to our website. All right, so if you wanted to add a button like this, all you'd have to do is go over here and search for booking. And when you find it, you can choose booking button and you can just click, hold, and drag it over. But since we already added it, let's delete it. And we can edit the booking button by just clicking on it and going over here to step settings, and we can edit all of these options. And let's say we wanted to add a calendar like this. We can also do that by clicking on this plus right here. And then we can search for booking again, and we can click, hold, and drag in the booking form. That will add the calendar to your website. But of course, we don't need two calendars, so we can delete that. And we have different options over here, like hiding the summary panel or hiding the side panel. These are just different ways that the calendar shows up. This will just make it look like a regular small calendar. Then you can do interesting things like pre-select an agent, basically who is going to fulfill this service. Then we can also do a pre-selected service. So maybe we want to do our new wellness coaching, and let's just keep it like that. For the buttons, we can also do a pre-selected service by clicking on it. Then we can click on the step settings, and we can choose a specific service right here. We can also do the same for each of these and obviously make a specific service for each of these buttons. After we're done with that, we can click on Publish, and we can go to our main website. And now we can check it out. We can see how it's changed. So we can click on anything. And for this one, we can choose whatever service we want. So this is the one with all of the different options for the user. And our calendar is in there like normal. And if we scroll down, we can see the book an appointment button. Now this should be for the specific service. So we can go ahead and click on it, and we see that it is for this specific service. So it didn't give us the list of options. It was directly to that service. All right, everything is working perfectly. Let's exit out of there. And let's go ahead and try to book an appointment like our users would book it. So let's use the calendar method to do this. Let's choose a date and a time. And let's add in our customer information like our first name, last name, phone number, and email, then press next. And we can see how much it cost, and then press submit. And now we have confirmed our appointment. Super cool. Then your user, if they want, can create an account and set a password. And now they have a username, which is their email, and password. Then your user can open up the My Cabinet, which is basically where all the appointments are stored for the customer. And we can see everything like appointments and orders and profiles. And your user can even make a new appointment. So this is super cool and super powerful, but let's exit out of there. And let's go back to the dashboard and then go to Late Point again. And now we can see our upcoming appointment right here. So that's the one that was just booked. And we have this entire place that we can check out our calendar and all of our appointments and everything that we need to manage all of our appointments. We can also see all of our orders right here and all of our different customers. We can see all of our agents here. This is like people who are going to fulfill the service. This is basically your employees or you. And we can also go to settings and see all of these different settings. We can have a default status for the appointment. Basically, do we want to automatically approve them or do we automatically want them to be pending? We can also integrate payments. So we can click on payments and we can connect our Stripe account. And then we can start accepting money. So if the service costs $500, then they can enter in their credit card information and we will receive $500. All right, so you can do that right here, but you do need a Stripe account, but I'm just gonna turn this off for now. And let's go back to our main website, and that is basically how you control the appointment booking on your website.
The next thing that we're going to do is edit your contact page. You can actually edit any page by clicking on the page like this About page, and then clicking Edit with Elementor. So you can also do the same thing with the Services page, just click on it, and then click Edit with Elementor. But we're going to edit the contact page. The contact page is a little bit different than the other pages just because we have this contact form right here. But to edit it, all we have to do is click on Edit with Elementor. And then just like before, we can click on anything and over here we can change it. If we wanted to change the phone number, we can click on it and just change that too. For the link, if we put in TEL and then colon and then the phone number, now if someone clicks on it on their cell phone, it will automatically call. It'll actually automatically call also if you click on it on your desktop. And we can also do the same thing with the email. We can change it. And then down here, if you do mail to and then colon and then put the email address, if someone clicks on it, then it'll pop up to email you. And we can easily change the address by clicking on it and changing the address. Super simple. If we want to change the way our form looks, the style of it, we can click up here and then we can go to Style and we can change any of the options here. Maybe we want to change the color, so we can change this color right here and just slide this around. We can of course reset that, or we can go over here and choose a global color, basically a color from our website, and we can click on it and it'll change. All right, that's pretty cool. If we wanted to add a map, we can scroll down and we can press this plus button and then click on Flexbox, and then we can click on the down direction. Now we can go over here and search for map, and now we can just click, hold, and drag it. And we have ourselves an interactive map. Then we can change the address to change the address of the map. You can do a specific address. You don't need to do just a general location. And you can change the zoom level right here. And you can change the height. Maybe we'll put in something like 360. And we can preview the map by clicking here. And we can see that this map has space around it. So to get rid of that, all we have to do is go over and press on these 6 dots right here. And for content width, we can do full width. That'll make it go all the way across, but there's still a little gap here. So we can go to advanced, and then for padding, we can do 0, and that will get rid of that gap. And now when we look at it, it goes all the way across and it touches the top and the bottom. All right, that's looking pretty good. All right, so now how do we change the style of the form right here? We can do that by clicking on it and then going to Style. And then we have a whole bunch of options. If we wanted to change the border, for example, we can make it red. And you can see the border has changed to red. But maybe we want to put that back. And you have a whole bunch of other style options. But how do we change these different fields right here? We can do that by going over to Content, and we can click Edit the selected form. Once that happens, this is going to pop up, and now we can control that contact form. So what we can do is we can drag in anything that we want. Maybe we want a single line text for a phone number. We can simply click on it and then edit it right here. So we can change this to phone number. We can make it required so people have to fill it out. We can also go to advanced and make the field size bigger so that it goes all the way across. and we can put in placeholder text. So maybe we'll put in something like phone number, and we can click, hold, and drag that around to rearrange it. And we can also rename the form. So if we wanted to give it a different name, we can click on settings and we can rename it here to contact form. And for the submit button text, instead of book an appointment, it can say send message. For notifications, this is when it gets submitted, where it's going to send to. So right now it says admin_email, and this is the admin email of your website. It's probably just your email, but if you want to send it somewhere else, you can just type in whatever email address you want to have it sent to. The from email should be no reply at yourwebsite.com. And it should be this because sometimes if you don't have this, then it will go to spam. And the reply to, what is this? So someone fills out your contact form and they put in their email when they're filling out the contact form. This is their email. So when it goes to your email, it's going to reply back to their email. And this is correct. It should be field 2. But we can see right here where it says your email. So this is their email address that it'll send to. If that was confusing, just keep it as it is. It works fine. And then for confirmations, this is just the message that appears once it's sent, and that looks fine. So we can save that and we can exit out of there. All right, let's go ahead and publish that. Let's remove all of this and go to our contact page. And now we can see it. We can see this new phone number right here and our updated contact information over here. And we can simply fill this out. So this would be your user filling this out. We can put in a message and send that message. Now that's going to get sent to the admin email address or whatever email address that you put in. So let's just go to our email. And yes, this is not an email I use a lot. So we can click on this new message from our website and we can see that it worked. So this is basically someone trying to get in contact with you. And if we click on reply, then it's going to reply to their email, the email that they filled out the form with. That was that reply to field. All right, so that's basically how you control your entire contact form. We can exit out of there. And let's go ahead and click on the home page. The next thing that we're going to do is learn how to edit this header up here. We'll learn how to change the logo, edit the navigation, and change this button up here. So to change the header, all we have to do is click on Customize. Then we can click Header Builder. Once we do that, to change something like the background of the header, we can click on this gear icon, and we can change things like the height right here. And if we go to Design, we can choose the background color right here. So obviously you can make it any color that you want. And we can reset that. And there's a lot more options over here. To change this primary menu right here, all we have to do is click on this button down here. And if we choose Design, we can change things like the text color. So we can choose any color that we want, and we can see it changed over here. And we can also change the hover color. So when someone's mouse is over one of these link items, it'll change colors. All right, but we can reset all of that so it's back to normal. And to change the actual menu items up here, let's go back to General, and we can press Configure Menu from here. Now this is going to allow us to edit the menu, so we can just edit the primary menu. And now we can just click, hold, and drag around these menu items, and we'll see it change up here. We can also indent a menu item under another one, and it will become a sub-menu. We can undo that by just not indenting it.
And we can add another menu item by pressing Add Items, and then you can add any other page that you've already created, and we can just add it to the menu. To delete any menu item, all we have to do is press on this X to get rid of it. So this is basically how to change all of the menu items and everything in the header for the desktop version, but we can also change it for the tablet and mobile version. If we go down here, we can click on the tablet version and the mobile version. And let's just go back to the tablet, and we can click on this little edit icon here, and then we can change the icon over here. So maybe we like these 3 dots, or maybe we like it just how it was. And then we can click on design, and we can change the colors and everything. And there's a whole bunch of options to make it exactly how you want. We can also click this to open this up. And we can click on this edit icon right here and go to design, and then we can change all of the different colors for the mobile menu. All right, but let's go back to the desktop. And maybe for this button right here, we want it to be a button so that the user can look at their dashboard, so they can see all of their bookings. So instead of this phone number text, we can put in dashboard, and instead of the link, we can just have it go to /customer-cabinet. If you remember, that's the place where they can see all of their bookings, and that's pretty good. We'll test that out in just a second. Next, let's edit your site title in logo. So we can just click on it, and we can change the logo here or remove it. We can make the logo bigger or smaller right here, or reset it. And we have our site title here. That's basically the name of our website. And down here we can see site title visibility. So is our site title visible, or is only the logo visible? It'll make sense in a second. We can mark them off as visible for desktop, tablet, and mobile. And let's just change this right here so it updates a little bit. And now we can see it. And here we have the option of making the logo in line with it. So this is pretty cool if you have an icon right here on the left and the site title on the right. But of course, if you just want to keep it simple, we can remove the logo and just have the site title right here. But what about this icon up here? This is called the fave icon, and we can change it. If we scroll down, we can go to site icon down here, and then we can click on site icon, and we can upload our own site icon. I have videos on making a logo and making a site icon, and I'll link that in the description below. Once our site icon is uploaded, all we have to do is select it and then skip cropping. And now we have this site icon up here, and that looks much better. All right, let's save all of those changes by clicking on publish, and then we can exit out of here. And now if we click on dashboard, this is what our users will see. They'll see all of their appointments that they made, and they can even make new appointments. If the user is logged out, let's just click on log out, and they click on the dashboard, then they'll just be asked to log in. All right, so that's basically how you control the header of your website. All right, we can just log back in as if we're the customer. And let's go back to our homepage by clicking on our website name. And now I want to show you how to edit the footer. The footer is at the bottom of your website, like your feet. And we can easily edit it basically in the same way we edited our header. All we have to do is click on Customize up here. And then we can go down here and click on Footer Builder. Once we do that, we can click on this gear icon to change things like all of the color for the entire background. We can also change things like the number of columns or the layout. But to change the color, all we have to do is click on Design, and then we can just change the color to whatever we want, just like before. We can also change the padding, which is the spacing at the top or the bottom or the left or the right, and we can make it more or less pretty easily. To change this logo right here, we can just click on this HTML here,
and then we can change any of the information that we want. To change this menu up here, we can just click on the edit button, and we can change this menu by clicking on this configure menu from here button. So this is our footer menu, and we can press edit menu and we can change it just like we changed the header menu. We can also change this bottom copyright right here by clicking on the little edit pencil, and let's scroll down and we can change it here. Maybe we can change it to one column so that it's only one column, and we can just click on it and then we can change any of the information here. You obviously want to put copyright, the current year, and then your business, and we can center it. And we can also change it for the tablet version by clicking on that and scrolling down, and we can center that. And you can also do that for the mobile version. All right, but let's go back to the desktop version, and we can go ahead and publish all of those changes and then exit out of there. And that is how you change your footer. It's looking pretty good. The next and final thing that we're going to do is make sure your website works well on all devices, like phones, tablets, and even TVs. We can see what it would look like as a mobile version, and as you can see, it looks pretty good. But maybe there are a few things that we want to change just for the mobile version. So we can do that by clicking on Edit with Elementor. Then we can see what it looks like on tablet, and we can see what it looks like on mobile. If we scroll down, we can see maybe two things that we want to change. First, this section is a little bit too tall. Maybe we don't want it this tall. And this button text goes on 2 lines. Maybe we only want the button text to go on 1 line. So let's figure out the height of this first, and let's go ahead and click on this column icon. And then over here it says min height. But what we should notice is this mobile icon right here. And if we change the min height to 0, that will remove all of that space. And then we can do that for each section. So we can just scroll down and do that for this section. Next, maybe we don't want this button text to go on 2 separate lines. So we can change the spacing around the button to make it only be on 1 line. So all we have to do is click on it and then go to Style. And we can scroll down, and under padding, we can click this button, and now we can put in separate values. We could just put in 13, 25, 13, and 25. And now I'll make the button text be on only 1 line. But we don't want to do that over and over again for each and every button. So what we can do is we can right click and press copy, and then go up here and right click and paste style. We only want to paste the style because maybe this button has certain links to it and we don't want to change the links, or we don't want to change the text. We only want to change the style of it, basically the colors and the padding and the spacing and everything like that. So we can do that one more time up here. Just go up here and paste style. And now all of our buttons look the same. Maybe for this section right here, the picture is too tall. So we can click on the image, and then we can go to style, and under height it says 700, but we can change that, or we can enter in a value ourselves over here. And now that's looking much better, and that only changes on the mobile version because of this mobile icon. So when there's a mobile icon, it only changes for the mobile version, or for the tablet version, or for the desktop version. All right, that is looking pretty good. Let's go ahead and publish that, and that will save all of the changes. And we can remove all of this right here and press enter. And now our website and the mobile version of our website is complete. And you are done creating your website. If you want to see your website as your users would see it without being logged in, this is totally optional, but you can go up here and you can log out. Then we can go to our main website. And this is exactly how our users will view the website. So congratulations. I hope that your business is a success. Please remember to comment, rate, and subscribe. I'm Tyler Moore. Thank you so much.